Derek, thank you for your time. I think you have got a great time over the past years in our country. At the same time, you get the excitement and frustration, a lot of mixed feelings. Now, what do you feel at the moment before you leave?
I feel a mixture, many different emotions, for obvious reasons. There's a great sadness that my wife Min and I feel to leave this country because we have loved it so much. We really have. And you say it's a mixed emotion of the past 3.5 years. But the one thing that's been clear is the warmth and the welcome that we've had. It's been just an incredibly remarkable experience for both of us. But obviously gratitude, as well. Gratitude for what I've been able to witness, gratitude to be part of a historic time, a time that continues to unfold. We don't know how this is going to go, but we're in a very different place than we were 4.5 years ago. We just we'll have to figure out ways that we can continue to contribute without being ambassador and wife.
Right. I think we together have been witnessing my country, Burma, changing a lot over the past 5 years. But a few days ago, and the current administration arrested a very prominent woman, political activist, Manila Day. At the same time, there are political prisoners kept in jail.
Yes.
How would you feel when you leave Burma as a very influential ambassador, with those political prisoners still being incarcerated behind bars, and those political activists like Manila Day facing arbitrary arrest?
Yes. And there are people, Ugambira is another one. These are people I've gotten to know over the past several years who I admire tremendously for their courage and their commitment to their country. So it is very disappointing to be departing probably before their situations are cleared up. The issue of political prisoners was one that I took up as envoy. It's one of the priorities to change the relationship between the United States and this country, that these are the people that you should believe are your allies in democracy. These are people that believe in free speech, that are patriots, I believe, for the country. And the idea that free expression, particularly Manila's case and some of the others, even the Facebook cases that are also very, very disappointing, Patrick and such. It's disappointing that those remain, that this legacy of the past remains. But I'm very hopeful that a new government and maybe a new era is coming where the era of political prisoners will be over, and that these people and all people will be able to freely express themselves, and that the laws will be changed in particular, including the Constitution potentially, but really laws will change to be more democratic and embrace free speech instead of seeing it as a threat to stability.
But that latest arrest indicated that the international community, including the United States, didn't really manage to convince the U Thein Sein's administration to accept the international and democratic norms. How difficult for you to convince the U Thein Sein administration to accept those norms?
Well, I think what they're saying is they have violated laws that are on the books, and they're being implemented by, I think, the Home Affairs Ministry, maybe others that will say, that's their defense, that there are laws on the books and they have violated the laws as they have been written, as they've been passed by the Parliament. That can be debated whether that's true or not. I wish that perhaps they would be selective in their interpretation of the law in order to allow for free speech and the right to demonstrate. But it is disappointing, but this again is the responsibility of a parliament, of a new government, to then put this era in the past, to pass laws that are very clear, put people in place in the ministries that will interpret these laws in ways that affirm democratic practice and don't see that type of democratic practice as a violation of law. There are limitations on free speech and demonstrations, but they should be consistent with international standards. And I think putting someone like Manila and Ungambira is a separate issue, but those types of cases are obviously disappointing to those of us who had hoped that type of activity was something of the past.
I mean, as for me, I'm quite surprised that the government has only 1 month or so left to govern this country. What do you think this administration keeps arresting the people or intimidating the people until the last minute?
You have to ask.
What's wrong with them?
Yeah, it's hard for me to answer as the ambassador. I think there is an attention to stability, to be honest. I think it is an old mindset of what constitutes stability or rule of law. They may believe, honestly, that laws are on the books that say you need to follow certain rules and regulations in order to have a demonstration. And if you don't follow those rules and those laws, then you are subject to accountability, to being brought up on charges. And someone can look at it and say, okay, well that makes sense because that's the law as it sits. So I think they also believe that stability, this is a very sensitive moment, and they want to ensure stability to get to April 1st, just as they, I believe, felt that they had created a stability that allowed the elections to occur in after. I've heard that from some in the government. That's a mindset. And I think what you need maybe is a new mindset and a new government, so that belief is something of the past.
But I don't think it is. It will be easy even for the new administration after they take power, they take office, because for example, the Home Affairs Minister will be appointed by the military, and then if the Home Affairs Minister will not agree, to release the political detainees. And then the new administration will face a new problem, I think. I don't think that the president of the NLD or the new government will not easily announce the amnesty for the political prisoners. And they really need to collaborate with the Minister of the Home Affairs Ministry, who will be appointed by the military.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. I don't think we should make any judgments now. I think clearly Kyaw Zwa, the lady, wants to form a partnership with the commander-in-chief in the military and to build trust and to perhaps lead in a different direction and convince them that democratic stability is different than military stability, that the stability imposed by force against people who are freely expressing themselves is actually harmful to the democratic system you want to create and is a false stability. It just creates more tension in society, more anger, rather than creating a stability where everybody feels they have a voice and they have a say in their affairs. So this is something the new leadership will have to work with the military on, and I'd make no assumptions about how a new Minister of Home Affairs or even the current Minister of Home Affairs may do things in coming weeks and months.
Before discussing about the military issue, as you know, many critics have concerns at the moment. The current administration might leave political minefields for the new administration, probably trying to make a comeback in coming years. Do you share such a concern?
That they would do things that would create the conditions for the military to return, you mean?
Military or the current administration, the ruling party?
I don't think it's going to happen. Who knows? Anything can happen in any country. And there is a history here of military domination of politics, and there's a lot of mistrust in the society that's represented in that question. You have a history, and you've seen things that have occurred that have been disappointing. People didn't expect the elections to go well, and there would actually be an election result as it occurred. It took a lot of my conversations with people to say, test this. This is a new moment, test it. I know you are mistrustful and you're skeptical, and the people of this country have earned that. But work for the best. Work for the best, build trust steadily, because that's your only hope for the country, is to work for the best rather than assume the worst.
I think that the ongoing meetings between Aung San Suu Kyi and the Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, the Commander-in-Chief of the military, goes very well. Yes. And as far as we know, the meetings are quite healthy. And if the meetings bring about and the positive results, and the country's future will be very bright. What kind of the best scenario do you expect out of this crucial meeting?
Well, I think it's exactly what you said, which is if they can form a partnership, if they can build trust and understanding and a common vision going forward, those two people can make the difference, a huge difference in the future of the country. The country can succeed if they can work something out in an understanding. Those two institutions, NLD and the military, and the lady and the commander-in-chief. So we'll watch for that, and I hope they're talking frankly to each other, they're building that understanding. It's only the first few times they've ever met, so it will take some time. But that's the best case scenario. That's what I really hope, and I think they can set a model for the entire country of reconciliation.
Then what will be the worst scenario?
The worst scenario, oh, well, I don't want to get into worst. There are so many bad scenarios. I think we should stop focusing on bad scenarios and really work for the best and build trust. When people focus on what bad can happen, that can induce bad things happening, and people may act in ways that create more tension and more mistrust. So I really do hope people on all sides in this country think about how to make things better and the good scenarios, rather than assuming that the past is prologue, that what happens in the past is inevitable going forward. I do not think that, and that's, I think, the only way there's a possibility of positive change is to hold out the possibility of positive future.
But the fact is that without a military collaboration with the new administration, the Aung San Suu Kyi's new government will face a lot of difficulties in many areas, starting from the peace process and the corruption issue to the economic issue. So how should the new administration deal with the powerful military?
I think with great patience and great openness. I think the strength of the government coming in, the NLD government, is they are clearly representative of the will of the people. If the military wants to be on the side of the people, they should be partnering with the civilian leadership. And I know that the lady in the NLD recognize the need for a strong military, for a respected military. They're not anti-military. A country cannot do without a military. It's just, what kind of military should it be? So I think that there can be a lot of good conversations along these lines between them, and I hope that they can build trust and build a really honest understanding that both sides want the best for the country, and then work on some very difficult issues, as you say, the issue of military control of the economy, land confiscations, peace, drug issues, other, military justice, accountability for military abuses, and then hopefully the NLD can reassure them that we're not looking to attack you in any shape or form. We want to build a partnership for the future.
The United States administration has been engaging with the military as well, including the top, the high-ranking officials of the military. Do you see that kind of will or willingness in the military and to really work together with the new administration led by Aung San Suu Kyi? They're
certainly saying that. They've said that before the election, right before, in fact. The commander-in-chief was very constructive in saying, we will abide by this result. Full stop. Whoever wins, we will work with. And we will abide. And that was, I think, very reassuring signal to give right before the election and right after the election. So that is substantial in and of itself. He's in public saying these things. So I will watch and see. I do think they have a genuine desire for peace. The military, and this is true when I worked in the Pentagon, militaries are the ones who get killed. They're the ones who get wounded. They're the ones who are out in the front lines. They oftentimes are the ones who want peace the most. But we'll have to see how they design the peace going forward, what they are willing to sacrifice or compromise on in order to get the peace that they say they want. Again, it comes down to mistrust. They have enormous mistrust of people in the ethnic armed groups and probably in the NLD as well. So we'll have to see how that.
In our country, the constitution guarantees the military to have 25% of the military appointees in the parliament, and the military can appoint 3 important minister positions, and they can also nominate the vice president. So they have a certain power in the constitution. Yes. What if they want more out of this political situation or political dialogue with the Aung San Suu Kyi?
Right. Well, we'll see what they want, what the deals are that they would look for. But it's incumbent on them, the military, to take the steps to reassure the country that something has changed, that this is not the former military regime in different color, that they are simply tolerant of the election, that they are actually investing in the people's will They're actually embracing the people's will in a civilian leadership in a democracy. So as much as I may say that people need to reassure the military needs to do much more to reassure the public that they will change their ways in order to conform to a new democratic moment. And that includes issues of whether they need to control certain ministries or what their representation is in parliament and how they deal with a duly elected civilian leadership that is NLD. These are things that if they can send those signals out, strong signals, if they can stand side by side with the lady on April 1st with the opposition and say we will unite around the new leadership. You know, there are things that transcend politics, and we will work together for the betterment of this country and be more transparent, more accountable to the people. That will go an enormous way to reassure and build the trust that's necessary for a truly people's military.